AgweekTV weather is brought to you by Kaler Farms.
Weather portion of Ag Week. Now the transitional season continues as we look through the middle part of September. Cooler weather is settling into the plains and Midwest, much of the central United States. Here over the next couple of weeks, we'll enjoy much cooler weather after a fairly hot beginning of the month of September. Rain and harvest time and mud concerns, because there have also been some areas, especially parts of North Dakota, Minnesota, and some parts of Iowa that have really had some very heavy rains these last couple of weeks. And there is a heat wave ongoing in Europe. I won't dwell too much on that, but it is worthy of pointing out that many parts of Central Europe in particular, around Germany in spots, have been experiencing temperatures in the 90s. As we have cooled down, they have heated up once again. I wanted to focus just a bit on total rainfall across North Dakota and western Minnesota. I'm not focusing on this area for any reason other than this is data from the North Dakota Ag-weather network site known as NDAWN. But I wanted you to realize that from May 15th to now, how wet it has been in the greater Grand Forks area, with a large pocket of up around 20 to 25 inches of rain just since the middle part of May. You think it's been wet? Yeah, it's been wet. All the way up into northeast North Dakota, and then a narrow little tail that extends down through, about Jamestown and on down into south central North Dakota. It's rained more than twice as much in the Grand Forks area as it has in the greater Fargo area, and it's not like it's been super dry in the Fargo area. Western North Dakota, definitely a little bit drier. That's fairly typical, of course. It just doesn't rain as much in western North Dakota out there in the high plains. But the drought monitor is telling us there really are no longer any seriously dry areas in North Dakota or Minnesota. Parts of central western South Dakota, a little dry. Sioux Falls area, a little dry. Parts of the eastern Corn Belt are a little dry, but not enough for any real dramatic effect on corn bean prices. Grain prices, not such a problem at all. We do have some cooler weather dumping into the northern plains this week, courtesy of a jet stream pattern. We also have a subtropical jet stream that is bringing a lot of moisture up into the Middle West. Going to bring some rains to California, and parts of the Midwest will continue to be wet. Meanwhile, the polar jet stream will bring cooler temperatures the next 2 weeks to much of the plains and Midwest. In terms of moisture, it will be dry this next week over much of the northern plains and the west coast. The wet weather, wetter than average weather in California, with a narrow tongue up into the central states, and probably some tropical moisture again in the Carolinas. And the second week, as we look at it, it's still going to be relatively dry, I believe. Northern plains, northern Rockies. The wet area will be down in the central plains, and that may get up into Iowa as that tropical moisture feed is expected to continue. So cooler weather in northern plains, not so rainy weather for a while, except in the central plains, Iowa South, still looking fairly wet.